Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Global Games. I've already had enough of Sottle and replaced him with my good friend Lothar. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I was watching this game. I was like, no way!
It was kind of crazy, wasn't it?
Well, no way won.
Yeah, but
Yeah. And
I wanted to pass over that terrible joke.
Funnily enough, minutes before the game started, I was like watching Emerald Hive Queen in my own hand because I got it from macOS.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, what a horrible epic. Good thing it's an epic, so I don't have to craft it. Like,
Wow, and now you want to put in your rogue deck. So.
Well, it makes sense in decks that don't have that many minions, right?
Yeah, and the rogue deck is one that actually fumbles a little bit in terms of aggro. So it's definitely a cool choice, and no surprise to see it come out from Zyrez. But we can move on to the next match of the day, which is going to be Netherlands versus Romania. It's going to be Thijs, Tyler, Theo, and Mitsuhide for the Netherlands, and RDU, Moody, Hannibal Z, and Tracky Style, from Romania. I believe you are a little bit aware of at least a couple of the players on this.
Yes, I'm kind of familiar with some of the members of both teams. Happily enough, I'm gonna say that Thijs and RDU are my team members, so I have a lot of knowledge about those guys. But in general, both teams are veterans of the scene, especially Romania. Every single player, RDU, Moody, Hannibal's, Tracky started playing in late 2013 or early 2014. So they're really veterans of the game. They know what's up. They have a lot of experience, and well, that's great, right?
Yeah, 100%. So RDU, everyone knows RDU, one of the top point earners in Europe almost all the time. No matter when you look, RDU's normally at the top. Great player, great streamer as well. And some of his teammates you might not have heard too much about. Hannibal Z had I think a good performance at DreamHack quite a while ago.
That was PGL Tavante.
Oh, it was PGL, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he actually won it.
Yeah. And but maybe not been too much in the spotlight too recently, but they're all good players. Whereas Netherlands has Thijs again. We know him quite well. Has Tyler, plays for Complexity as a streamer, and he just streams like what I feel is 24 hours a day. I just turns Twitch on and he's streaming, and he gets rank 1 legend on every single server at the same time because he's just that good. It's gonna be great to watch him play.
That is true. By the way, from one of the footage that we had in Romania, I think that was the castle that we were casting from during a Via Game Cup. That was like the Dracula's castle.
I remember watching that. That was before my casting time. Lothar, you showing your casting age.
Well, I'm old, so it's fine.
As am I. But yeah, we're going to be moving on. We can check out the previous match that we saw a glance of there. It was Finland versus Norway, but of course, Norway taking it. But it is going to be Netherlands versus Romania. And there's a couple of players as well. Mitsuhide, fantastic player, sort of up and coming last year, I would say.
DreamHack Winter Champion.
Exactly, and really sort of stamps his dominance into the scene at the back end of last year with a lot of great results. And now we can see the order they play in. It's a best of 5 between all of these players, each player going up against the opponent opposite. So starting off with Tyler versus Hannibal Z, they can choose one class out of the 2 they've brought, and the whole team has to bring 9 classes total, and all the classes have to be represented.
Even Hunter?
Even. So that's my line, Lothar. So Shaman and Mage for Tyler, Hunter and Druid for Hannibal Z, and they get to pick one of these classes to play. So Tyler open up for Netherlands, and RDU go in second and being the ace player, whereas RDU and Thijs being the ace players.
I
already know what everyone wants to see. This game goes all the way. The ace match happens. RDU versus Thijs. Bragging rights within G2. So that's going to be cool to watch if it happens. But
that'll be actually really cool to witness. We're going to start with Tyler, who is, a fun fact, he actually ditched a full-time job as a fashion photographer to be a card player.
Yeah, if you see any images or even just Tyler streaming, he always looks fantastic. He knows exactly what's going on in the fashion world and is a fantastic photographer. But yeah, he decided, I just want to go full-time with this, and it's been working out pretty well for him so far. Being the point leader, in fact, for Netherlands as well. He was the anchor on the team. He got on the team automatically, being the player with the most points in that country. So it's going to be great as we see the players get ready. Team Romania, 3 of them are together, and that is RDU's house. I know exactly exactly because of
I wonder why.
I've seen that background a few times, and Tyler playing from home got the complexity jersey on. Bear in mind that both teams are on comms as well, so this is not a 3v1 as the cameras may allude to, but both teams are in full communication with each other, either together, as Lothar are sat next to each other in a close vicinity, or on voice comms through something as well. So these players, it is a fair fight.
Yeah, it is, and well, luckily enough for the Romanian players, most of them are living in Bucharest, so it's kind of easy to get along, in one room, just play the game. Oh, see, we have some facts here.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, Tyler. 7 top 10 legend finishes out of the past 10 months. Absolutely incredible. And as you can see, he's held rank 1 legend on Europe, America, and Asia at the same time, which is just stupid. It's just too good. I don't know how he does it. It's absolutely incredible.
I think only one player had that feat so far. That was Xixo, if I remember.
I think so, yeah. Wasn't that only on 2?
Oh,
I might be wrong. Anyway.
Okay, but Hannibal's earned 27 HCT points in 2016, the third highest total in Romania. Won what we talked about already, PGL Tavern Tales in 2016. Competed in the Winter and Spring HCT preliminaries in 2016. And, yeah.
Not everyone from Romania is a vampire, apparently, as well. That's what he wants to... That's his note he wants to get out. Yeah, me neither, actually. I mean, I spent some time with Radu. There could be a vampire for all I knew, but we're going to get into the first game of the Netherlands versus Romania. Tyler versus Hannibal Z. It's going to be Tyler on the Elemental Shaman, Hannibal Z on what appears to be good old Jade Druid.
I'm a big fan.
I know, this is your favorite deck, right?
Yeah, it is my favorite deck, definitely of all time. As much as I love Jade Idol, I would like to say that Subtle loves the Quest Rogue. It's the same kind of love.
Yeah.
Burgerburly, the new, I wouldn't say maybe staple at the same way as Azure Drake was in the previous metagame, but it seems like the new 5-drop to go for if you're not playing at Tribe, like an Elemental, and you have spot for, a flex spot for a neutral minion. Then Burgerburly seems the guy for the job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably just the next best 5-drop available, but Hannibal Z is starting with the Jade Idol. Now, Tyler is fully aware of the deck archetype now. He does have the Firefly, though. He has a lot of elemental synergy being able to go into the late game as well, with the Firefly going to the Flame Elemental, will give him a lot of options.
Well, the interesting fact about Firefly is that when you play the Firefly, you get back the Flame Elemental, which then can be decreased in cost by the Fire Plume, and then you're
play
able...
whatever you want.
Yes, but what is even more important, you can trigger the elemental thing, the elemental keyword for the next turn without any effort. You can play something else, like a spell, or a minion that is not an elemental, because it's Stone Shaper, an example, but you can still trigger it for the next turn because you have a 0 mana flame elemental. Instrumental to the strategy.
Yeah, he can beat the Stone Shaper issue. At the moment, Tyler does have a 2 and a 3 drop to go as well. Okay, chaining this. He can deal with this Jade now. And this is what we talk about the Firefly just being so resilient as a 1 mana 1/2 that generates a 1/2 in your hand as well. So looking pretty good. Is this enough value though for the Elemental to be played this turn? It does reduce Elementals down by 1, makes the Flame Elemental 0, but there's only the Dark Reaper effects to a 2-drop.
Doesn't really look too good. 2 Jade Lightnings in hand already, decreasing the value of Fire Plume. So this is the problem that you have usually with the Elementals. If you just draw the different order, you draw spells first instead of minions, you kind of fall behind. But you need to be on board, especially against Druid, which always wants to be ahead of the curve with Kazakh Innovate, Wild Growth. But fortunately for Tyler and the Netherlands team, they didn't draw any acceleration at all.
Yeah, and even the hand in general is quite late. There is Nourish for turn 5 to be able to ramp up, but that is still quite a long way away. Gadget's hand not going to help them out. And Adi, you can already see, it's like, oh, come on, where's the ramp?
Where's the ramp? You're not drawing it, you're doing it wrong for the Druid, but you can see the iconic duo nowadays, Burgerburly and the Auctioneer are going hand in hand with each other because of the synergy with the additional coins.
hero power going down to clean up the totem there. Now Tyler's got a few more choices. Can just drop the Tar Creeper this turn. Can develop the Elemental again, but it's just not going to be good enough as the Jade Claws are drawn. Should go Jade Claws, coin Jade Lightning, and just start getting all jadey on him. just get aggressive. Tar Creeper, not really the card you want versus Jade Druid.
Nah, not really.
The defensive capabilities aren't needed until the late game, and even in late game it becomes more of a speed bump.
It's definitely not needed against this type of deck, as you said, especially that it doesn't put any pressure on the Druid. Druid will just ignore it. At some point he will drop a single minion that will just deal with the Tar Creeper with one swing, and that will be, well, end of the problem with the Tar. So the same goes for the Jade Lightnings. Usually want to use them, you can think about it like a weaker Fire Elemental. That's the purpose of the card. It creates a minion that deals damage, not the other way around. So you want to have it as a, if you want to get back on the board, if you want to gain tempo, you use the Jade Lightning. So you can't really play it now. So you're pushed to play the Tar Keeper, and that's not really a problem for the Romanian team.
Yeah, but what this does do is it allows him to, if he draws a Stone Shaper next turn, it's going to be live. And if he doesn't, then he can just play the Flame Elemental or one of the other options he has in hand and be able to just proc his 5-drop or 6-drop plays quite easily. You see Earthen Scales in the hand for Hannibal Z.
Love the card.
Yeah, one of the new additions to Jade Druid. Normally, Jades are high enough health that when you use this card, it gives +1/+1 to a minion. Then its attack, you gain in armor. So if you have like even a 6/6, 5/5 Jade on board, you give it +1, make it a 6/6, and gain 6 armor. So that's actually a really good card for 1 mana.
Yeah, it kind of shifted the place for Feral Rage. You didn't want to, like, at some points, in some scenarios, the 2 mana difference between Earthen Scale and the Feral Rage is that you can put it with the Gadgetin turn.
Yep.
And that draws you additional cards, especially now that you can see the synergy between Burger Burly that will be dropped on turn 5. If we will give 1 coin, Romania will be able to play Gadgetin coin, Earthen Scale, just draw 2 cards, cycle,
I made
and
the
gain
Gadgetin at
health.
5/5.
Yeah, Gadgetin at 5/5
Yeah.
is actually pretty
good,
deal
yeah.
with, right?
I'd play that card.
Although Blaze Collar is a perfect answer,
That's true.
right? So Romania will keep that in the back of the head.
So see, the Fire Plume Harbinger is going to come down now and reduce the cost of the Fire Elemental. So now Fire Elemental can be played on curve next turn, which means that this 0-mana Flame Elemental is still in the back pocket, ready to proc a turn when things get a little bit dry for Tyler and Team Netherlands here.
That's true, and for Romania, there's not many options. They're aware that there might be a Fire Elemental next turn because of the Fire Plume. So even if they play Burger Burly, it will just be traded. And then, you have a terrible turn after that, because you can't play second Burger Burly. You need to play your Aya, which is a good trade, but it will most likely die because it's only 3 HP. Shaman has multiple ways of dealing that free damage. So they're aware that in a terrible spot if there will be a Fire Elemental.
We'll see what Tyler chooses to do. Fire Elemental does make this pretty clean, but he does trade away the rest of his board to this. And this is the downside of the Tar creatures, is that on your own turn, they are not very good at trading down minions. You might even see a Jade Lightning and then trade the 2 minions in, and maybe even coin Jade Claws.
Might be an option as well.
If you coin the Jade Claws out, you're overloaded for 1, but then next turn you can still play the Fire Elemental and then proc future Elemental turns after that. This might be the turn you squeeze it in.
That's true. If you're gonna go the route with the Jade Lightning and the Jade Claw, I think you probably will play the Flame Elemental as well, just to have the Elemental trigger for next turn in case you top deck something more important.
Yeah, the Servant of Kalimos, that would be
Examples.
different.
That's like the MVP of the entire deck.
Yep.
Feels like it. It just gives you so much fuel in the next turns, because usually Elementals bring something more than just the body to the table. Interesting enough, more push, no trade.
Yeah, well now because the Tar Creature's offensive capabilities on your opponent's turn means that the Tar Creeper will trade directly into Burgly Bully, and Tyler not needing to cast a spell that turn means that this is completely okay for him. The Tar Elemental needs to actually just be cleared off one way or another if a different spell is used. The Burgly Bully doesn't even trade into the Fire Elemental that well.
That's true. It's interesting that they kinda didn't play around the swipe. They probably read that there's no swipe in Romania's hand, but it's an interesting read because if there isn't a swipe, the board is entirely cleared, and Netherlands they don't really have a good follow-up after that.
Suddenly, Lightning Storm looks very appealing here.
Mm-hmm.
Can Lightning Storm even coin out Jade Lightning, still play the Flame Elemental if you're going to feel like you're going to draw an Elemental yourself next turn. Can just use the Jade Claws as well, so...
They're drawing the entire Jade package right now.
Yeah,
2 Jade Lightnings.
this can be pretty good as well.
2 Jade Claws. If they just get to draw Aya, this might be something they actually... That probably will be the best draw for them. With this hand, of course. Otherwise, you would like to draw an Elemental, like a Blaze Caller.
Yeah.
Or the 7th of Kalimos that was mentioned before. By the way, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. Flame Elemental, and of course Firefly, feels like it's a new version of Novice Engineer, the pre-nerf one.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of
like
draws the card, right?
Yeah.
Only 1 mana.
Well,
So we are going to see the Lightning Storm into Jade Claws play. Going to hold on to those Jade Lightnings. At the end of the day, the Jade Lightnings could just be used for burst to end the game, and that's something the Elemental Shamans actually lack quite often. But this is still preserving Tyler's board. It's going to be a little bit overloaded, but with that Flame Elemental in the hand, means any Elemental that's going to be drawn isn't going to be triggered that turn. This is still a bit clunky.
Board. It's very clunky. 2 Gazetans, Auctioneers in the deck also suggested a heavy on card draw and less on removal.
If they go for this Ancient Wall, a single Hex is going to prove to be a huge problem here if it comes out.
It's a gamble. You just need to do it, right? If they have Hex, they probably will lose. But if they don't have a Hex and they need to sacrifice multiple cards for a single taunt minion, this might get them the time they need to rebuild themselves with the Auctioneers, with the Burger Billy, then regain some health with the Earthen Scales and claw back into the game. Fortunately for it, I'm sure, 100% sure that Romania is paying attention what was played last turn for Netherlands, so they knew there was no Elemental played.
Yeah.
So there's no synergy. There's no way they can just gain advantage out of Elementals this turn.
Now, what they can do now, though, or what Tyler can do in Team Netherlands is there could be a Jade Lightning and trade the Fire Elemental, and that clears off the Ancient of War, and the Flame Elemental can be developed this turn to activate the Blaze Caller next turn as well, and still keep hold of a board. So I think this is what we're going to see here.
And that is super crucial, that 0 mana Flame Elemental instrumental from 10-3 when the Fire Plume was played.
Yeah, exactly.
Kept in the hand for this sole reason.
Yeah, board not looking too threatening on, for the Druid here, but still, Gadgetzan's going to come down now. There's enough stuff on Tyler's side of the board, means that he's threatening some damage, especially with cards like Flame Tongue Totem potentially available as well.
Evan Scales will give back some health. Wow, those draws are not really the best ones that you can get.
All those are what they were missing in the early game. To be able to ramp up very quickly and ramp that Jade count. I mean, what's the Jade count even on? Is it still on 1?
I think it's 2-2.
Yeah, as in there's only 1.
The
right?
Jade Idol was played on turn 1.
Yeah, and that's it, right?
And that's about it. They also play Pharaoh Rage. So it's both Pharaoh Rage and Earthen Scale. Now it's interesting to see the balance between those two. I was thinking maybe you just go for 2 Earthen Scales, but it might be a mix of 2. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 2 and a 1 or a 1 and a 1.
Yeah, exactly. So
Blaze Collar is just going to light this Gadgetzan up, though. I can't see any other option here. I mean, there are other options, Jade Lightning Trade, for example, but Blaze Collar feels so good here. Develop a 6/6 Elemental onto the board, proc your future Elementals here for Team Netherlands, and just cause Hannibal Z and Team Romania many, many headaches at this point.
how do you even deal with this? You just use one graph. They know, Tyler knows, and the rest of the national team of Netherlands, they know that just not enough in removal in that hand. There was a wrap, there wasn't a swipe there. So even if it's drawn, there's most likely only one. And that's not enough damage to deal with the Blaze Caller on its own.
Yeah, definitely a tough one. All these Jade Generation cards now available for Hannibal Z, but it's just too little too late. I feel they're all going to be too slow. The Jade count only being at a 2/2 for the
No,
next
it's actually 4/4 because of the Aya that was played on.
Oh, Aya, of course. Forgive me. It's going to be a 4-4 coming out, so maybe it's going to help now battle for the board, as that Tar Elemental is not going to be good enough to be able to battle on, as its attack does drop low. The Blaze Core, though, is going to hack one of these down very easily, if that's even the choice. Servant of Kalimos going into Tyler's hand and going to give him a few more options if he needs them.
That's a possibility, although Jade Lightning seems like a great play this turn, and I'm thinking if you just go for the Jade Claw puts additional pressure, generates, if I'm not mistaken, a 3-3 or 4-4.
Well, I'm wondering whether you Servant of Kalimos and Jinyu this turn. You can trade the Blaze Caller, Jinyu the Blaze Caller, play Servant of Kalimos, discover. That's a huge board. The next turn you have Jade Lightning and Jade Claws to burst and push damage.
It's definitely an option, but I feel like just smashing your opponent's face for 6 with the Blaze Caller
Seems reasonable.
seems like a better option.
Okay, discovers Kalimos, the Primal Lord, is the option. I imagine it is the option that's going to get picked. Such a flexible card, can do whatever you really need it to do. And I imagine Tyler's thinking about doing it for 6 damage to face here. And, you know, Druid struggles on wide boards, guys. That's nothing new to this expansion. It's pretty much been always the same way. And it's going to be just, I think, just too difficult.
Doesn't seem easy. Even if you just refill the board, like when you face a full board of your opponent, you probably will just want to play your own minions and try to claw back after you play your own minions, which usually have to wait an entire turn. So I'm not surprised that this is the way they want to play it out. But, well, it might just not work out, right?
Yeah, 10 mana available means it's going to be 4, 7, and... Yeah, that's just lethal, right?
6 damage from Kalimos, right?
Yep. Because you can equip the
Blaze
Jade Claws as
Caller.
well.
4, 7, 9, 10, 16. It's even on board.
Yep. Just going to be game. The Kalimos discovered from the Servant of Kalimos. Very reasonable. You know, he's going to close out this game. And again, just Servant of Kalimos doing the work, basically, and allowing this damage to come out. And Tyler was always in control. There's the relief and the sort of self-clap, like, yeah, okay, done. My job for this is done, at least in Tyler's specific game. He's winning, and he is going 1-0 for Netherlands so far. Romania just on the back foot throughout that whole game. They just never got a chance to go onto the board. They drew the deck the wrong way around.
Exactly. Like no Wild Groves, no Jade Blossoms, no Innovates until turn 6 or 7, I think. One Nourish in the opening hand, that's really not something you want to draw in the beginning. So even with 6 cards that can accelerate your mana, they didn't manage to draw that for the crucial early game, especially against Shaman, who is just the deck that goes on the board with the Elemental Tribe. That's like the new theme for the deck. They just try to take board control as soon as possible.
Yeah, we see the power of the Jade mixing with the Elementals, and we see Tyler taking the win there. Now we've got Mitsuhide going for the Druid of his own against RDU's Priest. So Mitsuhide could be playing there. There's a lot of aggro Druid variants as well. There's the one that plays like, you know, the Finja package, for example, with the Giant Megasaur. And then there's just straight up token Druid style effects. There's even, you know, we've seen Jade Druid. There's been some ramp Druids with tons of late game minions like Yasharaj as well. So a lot of options. And RDU on the Priest, again, we've talked a lot about Dragon Priest, but it could just still be the sort of spell-heavy combo-style Priest as well.
Basically, when I think about every single deck nowadays, it's like, well, there's at least 2 archetypes that are completely different from each other, right? You can either play a slow control-ish deck or an aggro version of the same class. Although in Priest, every single deck that we have is like either mid-rangey or control deck. It's either Dragon Priest or the more miracle, well, quote-unquote miracle version of the deck. But still, you need to prepare for a lot of angles. It's especially important during the mulligan phase, because against some decks, you just certainly don't want to see certain cards.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to try and work out exactly, you know, in this, how early it is in the meta to what you're even against at this point. As we said, there's multiple archetypes for almost every single class available. It's going to be cool to see what RDU's brought and what Mitsuhide brought. It's very interesting. I think I saw RDU like move the mouse, so I'm guessing Hannibal Z might be like left-handed. or something because he saw him like drag the mouse over to the other side. So that's kind of fun. It's those guys all hanging out while they play. Mitsuhide, no doubt, on comms with the rest of his teammates. We can see some information about these players. These two are quite popular. 2 major Hearthstone victories, DreamHack Winter and the WCA Europe qualifier. We were there at Winter. It was a kind of an awesome event and awesome to see Mitsuhide really break out. And yeah, it's playing for Gamers Origin, one of the few non-French players on that team.
That is true. Everyone was convinced that he is French, but no, he is actually from the Netherlands, and he's playing obviously for the team. What about RDU?
Well, you know, he's on this team with some guy that casts now and again that I've met a couple of times. I've heard he's Polish. Yeah, you know, part of G2, one of the powerhouses, of course, and just performance after performance after performance. RDU has been involved in Hearthstone as a pro for a very long time. Very young player as well, and he has so many victories under his name and so many strong finishes that we've not got time to list them all.
To be honest, I don't want to butter him up, you know, too much, but I met him during his first big tournament. That was DreamHack Bucharest, 2014. Early game. It was like March, if I remember correctly. And his first stage appearance was against Nimsh, who is actually now a employee of Blizzard and works on the esports side. But everyone was like, oh, look, Nimsh, the guy who is like 30 years old, is playing this young guy.
A child.
Who has like 16 years, you know? And he lost 3-0, if I remember correctly. And it was a shock for everyone. Although people who were, you know, aware of the Romanian scene, they knew that RDU is a great player. And he is actually a national champion of 2009 in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, nice.
So, some facts about RDU.
Definitely a long storied history there, but this game is starting. Mitsuhide on the aggressive Druid, Enchanted, I think it said Raven Island, just picking cards that are called Raven for the fun of it. But Enchanted Raven going to come down on turn 1. Thank you. And RDU looks like he is playing this kind of spell-heavy combo-style priest, and we might see Lyra. It's all I want in life, is to see that card get played very soon. And hear the awesome sound that sits there. Radiant Elemental into, well, calling Radiant Elemental into Powered Shield could be a very, very strong play here.
Just witnessing this opening hand give me goosebumps on my skin, man. Literally, look at this powerhouse. For the next turn, you have a Potion of Madness if you need it, and you just trade 2 minions of your opponent, or you get to play Shadow Visage for 1 mana and still get another Powered Shield from the deck. That's a possibility. So it's a really important minion. Although I was thinking about maybe keeping it for the next turn and just drop everything.
Yeah, drop everything in one go, yeah. This is nice, so you need to get it on early versus an aggressive Druid. Mitsuhide going for the Mark of Yasharaj to create the Raven Idol. I keep calling it Raven Idol. To make the Enchanted Raven a 4/4, so the Elemental is going to be a little bit more difficult to deal with. 2 Potion of Madness now. Not going to do much work against the 4/4, but the Shadow Visions is no doubt going to see it play here, I think. Unless he wants to trade heal.
I don't think
that's going to be good enough.
That leaves it open for everything, basically. And
well, especially when next turn you are expecting more low attack minions, which means next turn you could just double Potion of Madness into, like, you know, make multiple trades. Yeah, so Shadow Vision is going to be an option. For those of you who don't know, this does discover a copy of a spell that's in your deck. So you can chain multiple Shadow Visions if you want to. Who's going to go for that option, seeing Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, Binding Heal in the deck as well.
Well, with the Alkanai Soul Priest, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It deals 5 damage to you, but it also can deal 5 damage to a minion for 1 mana. Sometimes the tempo, while sacrificing your own life, doesn't matter. You just... I mean, the tempo matters. The life doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, but speaking of, you know, the Alkanai Soul Priest, Circle of Healing was a great choice there. You're against a board-focused, aggressive deck. Being able to just turn 4 Soul Priest, deal 4 damage to the board is absolutely fantastic for the Priest.
The oldest combo in the game.
Exactly. That's if you've not been Alkanai Circled, you've not played the game for long enough. Reverse time. Or play currently, I guess. This is one of the strong decks. Mitsuhide has Egg Napper available on 3 if he really wants it, but really needs to think about how he wants to deal with this Elemental, as it is going to cause huge problems for him going forward, and he might even go for the Ravasaur Runt into a Mark of the Lotus. To be able to go for a clean trade, create a 3/3. You don't really adapt, but it's a 3/3 on board.
I like it a lot, to be honest. Just destroying the Radiant Elemental, makes it very awkward for Romania to actually play all those spells they have, because they knew there are no minions on turn 2 to play, so there are most likely more spells. And the fact that the macOS charges made it so annoying for the priest to deal with. We all know a 4-attack minion is a menace to deal with.
Now you can join me as the second caster today that's talked about 4-attack minions and priest. It's part of an exclusive club that Subtle is now not welcoming. So yeah, Shadow Word Death are going to be available on this Enchanted Raven. Yeah, got the name right first time.
Congrats.
If RDU wants to, that is your whole turn. But let's be honest, your focus against Aggro Druid is to just close out these minions and stop the aggression.
I think it's fine. You are aware that you might not be able to just heal fast enough. I don't know if they run even Priest of the Feast in this deck. Might be because of the amount of low cost spells, right? But still, losing just 5 HP. Oh, the greedy play!
I think the idea here is how can I Soul Priest plus Circle next turn is going to clear the board anyway. So he just takes the additional heal, saves the Shadow Word Death for an emergency moment. Second Savage Roar coming out for Mitsuhide means that it's kind of a dud draw.
Is it? Is it?
I mean, yeah, you build into turns where you can double Savage, but it's not going to be important if you don't have a board, right? So I imagine there's Eggnap at this turn, so that's one turn, can live in mana the turn after, and then cannot double Savage Draw because he'll have no mana available.
Well, this seems like a decent turn for Romania. Cleared the board, although 2 1/1s remain on the board, which are beasts, by the way. But now I'm just thinking, you know what's crazy funny about this game? If Mitsuhide will go for living mana, Romania can just ramp up.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be
2 Potion of Madness, steal those minions,
That's actually crazy.
trade, gain 2 mana, steal basically mana from the Druid. It's the other way around. Priest is getting more mana.
I mean, that would more than likely just lock Mitsuhide out of the game if that was the case, but I'd struggle to not want to play living. Are you going to play against double potion? 1 potion might be reasonable, but double potion you don't really expect. On the same turn, just get Ravasor Runt. So Mitsuhide is not going to play living mana. I guess the idea here is for him is he can build enough of a board and then just go for double Savage Draw and hope it's in.
Might be the case.
Yeah, because living mana does reduce his Savage Draw, right? He just can't play it for the next few turns anyway.
All right, 2 minions for Netherlands on the board.
I mean, he's set up lethal this turn if there's no heal with the double Savage Draw here.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Is there going to be a heal? Because
I don't think
Potion
there
of
will
Madness,
be.
the 2 minions, one of the minions doesn't clear anything, and Elise, it's a pretty good Elise turn, to be fair. You're not going to think, that 3/3 and 2/5 are going to kill me from 17 health next turn. There's a very valid chance that RDU does not heal, just drops the Elise, and he's happy at that. Why would you just heal pass if you can drop down a 5/5 here?
Definitely true. And now it all comes down to turn 3. The Shadow Word Death that they held off for so long is still useless. And this is the reason why I wanted just to play it on turn 3. You essentially heal for 5. You lose a card, but you would be okay if that card just heal for free.
Yeah.
For 5 damage, sorry.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it would
gonna
have
be
killed
Elise.
it, right? Oh man, that is
Aggro
it.
Druid, indeed. Ravasor Run and a Raptor from Eggnapper combined with double Savage Roar. Mitsuhide probably just saying to the guys, yeah, this is a funny one, isn't it? Double Savage Roar is going to end this game. Let's see Romania's response here. I can just imagine it. Yep, cannot believe it. Adi's like, yeah, okay, they got me. It's going to be a very quick game, and Netherlands going to be very quick 2-0 over Romania here.
That is true. I still think that Shadow Word Death was just a mistake.
Might have just been a little bit too greedy. Double Savage Roar is a very difficult combo to play around that early. Like double Savage Roar on 6, right? It's a difficult combo to play around.
People forget about it.
But with the option of killing a 5/5 on curve or healing for 2 and then killing the 5/5 the turn after, and maybe more with the board, board development from Mitsuhide, sorry, then I completely understand the temptation. But against the aggro list, when you've got 2 Potion of Madness as well, I feel like you just keep killing everything, right? You just kill, and then you'll eventually push ahead and win. Romania decided not to do that and got punished pretty hard by a double Savage Roar. Can't blame RDU for the Elise turn though.
Yeah,
the Elise turn was
definitely
completely, completely correct, completely reasonable. You don't randomly just heal and pass that turn. So yeah, it's going to be a very quick 2-0 for Netherlands. Thijs is the player who's going to be playing next against X-Tracking Style. Thijs on the Hunter. Yes, I want to see more Hunters being played. And X-Tracking Style on the Warrior. And you know, we've been discussing this quite a lot. Hunter is one of the decks that you can
Tail.
Tech is sound weird. Yeah, Taylor's probably better to have a very strong matchup versus Control Warrior. We've seen cards like Hunter's Mark. We've seen players run double Deadly Shot, for example. Even what Bloody is actually pretty high on ladder at the moment with a Wasp in his Hunter deck to just get, which is a poisonous beast that just insta kills any minion. So great against
stealth. So most likely will survive a one turn. But there's also the version of the Murdering Hunter that it's tailored a little bit aggressively with more minions, less weapons, less even abilities, just straight out kill commands, and then that's about
try
it.
and get
right.
them.
And a lot of minions, you know, and you can, especially with the new Crackling Reservoir, you can be ahead on board almost every single time. Alley Cat allows you to play Crackling Reservoir almost against everyone apart from a Pirate Warrior with an Zoff First Mate and Patches, because that clears both. But if you have Alley Cat
going first,
the Crackling Reservoir always has a target for it, and that's insane when you think about it, because the adapts are bringing so much value to the table. At the same time, you have access to the late game, like Bitter Hydras, which I like to call them, and Savannah Highmanes, which are always great threat against any control deck.
Yeah, on the flip side, X-Tracking Style could just be playing Pirate Warrior, and that whole conversation would be void. But yeah, you know, you can see some information on Thijs, but if you don't know who he is, then you've been under a rock, I believe, or just new to Hearthstone. So Thijs is one of the prominent figures, a huge streamer, multiple-time European champion as well. Definitely wasn't too happy with his performance at BlizzCon last year, so you know, wants to really push himself forward this year. X-Tracking Style, you know, it definitely flies under the radar a little bit. He did get a victory at PGL Tavern Tales that we were at, casting, it seems like forever ago now, and he defeated Moody.
2016.
I know. Defeated Moody in the finals, who is also on Team Romania. So these players have played against each other and probably, you know, many, many times. And again, with sort of RDU kind of, you know, leading the pack, I would say, in terms of Romania. But X-Tracking Style, definitely no pushover. And I believe one of the decks he actually won with was Hunter as well. So he'll be going up against that deck now.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, he played Face Hunter. I remember people who play Hunter, okay? That's one thing that's stored up here. Don't need to do any research on that one.
But important thing, it's 2-0. Match point for Netherlands. If Romania will not pull it through, there might be the second team to get swept, and look at that.
So, it's Pirate Warrior. And by the way, Hunter kind of runs Galactic Crawler most of the time at the moment.
Sometimes one, sometimes two.
And going second, Coin Crawler. Get him!
Oh God.
And even Firefly, a card we've discussed at quite a large extent already today. This is only match 2 of the day, but Firefly, such a high value minion. Isn't a beast, so can't gain value from the adapt from the Razormaw, but just having those dudes on the board is fantastic. Kindly Grandmother, less impactful against Pirate Warrior, but my lord, double Galactic Crawlers. They are the bad omen of pirates, it seems. They get beaten up by crabs pretty harsh, and even getting them on the first mates means pretty much Totem Golem is back in the game.
Yeah, and to be honest, now it's all about Netherlands having the read, right? Do we keep both or do we keep one?
Oh, you keep both.
Well, you're not sure if you're facing a Control or Pirate Warrior.
Oh, there's the smile from Thijs. They are all laughing on comms, no doubt. All he's thinking is, got him. X-Tracking Style is going to be in a tough spot here. This is, as you said, match point. The winner of this game, well, if Netherlands, wins this game, they take the match 3-0 over Romania.
But still, it might actually not be coin out Golaka if you think about it.
Actually, Firefly coin Flame Elemental, get 2 1-2s on the board, and then then the pirates that get played going forward get killed, and you 1-2s actually, fight for the board very well.
And also a very important fact is that Golaka Crawls just destroy every single pirate.
Yeah, any pirate.
It's 1-1, it's 5-4, doesn't matter. It can be a Corsair, it can be a well, Zot first made Blood Cell Cultist. It just
Sky
destroys
Captain Crag, even.
Yeah,
If we're going to see that card, it will. Glycocrawler eats them all with 0 prejudice. And unfortunately, this is going to sound funny, but unfortunately for Tice, there is only a N'Zoth's first mate for number 2 in hand to play on turn 2 for Extracky style. I'm pretty sure Tice would have liked the Raider as well to just come out, on curve, just to be able to snipe that one. But another 1/1 isn't what he wants to see here.
Well, it might not even get played next turn because of the fact that you will lose your weapon and there's still a 1/2 minion on board.
And what's really nice here, and we'll probably find out afterwards, but Grandmother was in the opening hand as well. It was a full keep from Tice, and Grandmother is the backup plan. That means if for some reason there are no pirates, I can just play a Grandmother instead on 2 if you really want to, right? And this is probably a nod to the potential Taunt Warrior, but this is going to work out really well because he can just play the Grandmother this turn and feel pretty safe and still have a good 2-drop to play, then go into the Crawlers 3 and 4 if he really needs to.
That is true. I like the Grandmother on turn 2, although, to be honest, I feel like this this hand was a kind of a greedy keep because in case they will just face a Contra Warrior, a Quest Warrior, the double Golaka Crawlers are not really the best option to just face anything.
That's true, but I think what's good about it is you can just spam them out early game, and then because you've kept so many low cards, then you're probably going to draw into your bigger guys. So, I think it was completely reasonable for the chance of the hard win. Ty's just giggling to himself, and I don't blame him. I kind of would be as well if I was in his position, talking to his teammates, just laughing around here because he can just insta-kill whatever he wants. He has the second crawler.
Play Macau first, get a second crawler. Almost.
Kind of.
Kind of like the same minion, but with the butterfly.
And the response, there we go. You cannot believe it.
That is ridiculous.
Team Romania, Extracky style, controlling this deck, of course. Absolutely cannot believe this. You are wrecked so far by Hunter, and you're playing the even more aggressive deck. Oh, interesting. Bitter Tide Hydra in the Pirate Warrior. Something that is, sort of obviously come out with the expansion with a new card, but a card that can really help push some extra damage. And it might keep them in the game just about here. If it's a standard Pirate Warrior, they'd be in a nightmarish spot. But
yeah, that's true, but still, it doesn't really look great. The Hyena made back into the deck, and I love it. A lot of decks are just, they don't have the response to a Hyena. Suddenly, 2 small beasts to Alicaz or Unleash the Hounds just trades for minions. Suddenly, for 2 mana, there's a 6/4 Hydra just staring at you. Hyena staring at you, and what do you do with it?
Well, as well, if they do have the answer, it's normally a direct hard answer, which means they don't have the answer for your next stuff. Like they actually have to kill it. It's very similar to a Frothing Berserker, right? You have to kill it. And if you don't, you normally die. And if you do, then you've used up resources, and then the next few drops are going to be more impactful. Tice has a multitude of 2-drops to play here. The hook is still only 1 attack, right?
Yes, it is 1
attack. Do you ever just drop the Hyena then? Hyena in a 2-drop? How did he kill it?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, looks like Tice is going for the Crocodile here.
Well, to be honest, he
has the Rhino, right? So with the Rhino, the idea maybe is to Rhino Hyena in a couple of turns' time, which means that he can, 3 turns' time, but actually get off some kind of combo later on and kind of just win out the game. And Extracky style has a few options now. None of them fantastic. Do you just slam Hydra?
I think you have to. The only problem is that your opponent actually has multiple minions that will deal the damage while trading. So you don't necessarily do what you would like to do with this deck. You will lose health when you lose a minion, and you're playing against a Hunter. That kind of tells a story here that the Hunter might be doing something that they wanted to do anyway.
Yeah, definitely a tough call. Extracky style, they're now going for the route of the Arcanite Reaper into trade. So trying to secure the board for the Hydra to snap them back into position and try and clinch the win there, but it's just not going to work. There is now just Direwolf Alpha with Animal Companion this turn. Very clean turn 5, because you don't want the Rhino this turn, because 1, it dies to Arcanite Reaper, of course, but also you can't trade the Grandmother in to get that double value.
It seems like a great turn for Tice and the Netherlands team. I mean, let's be honest. After 2 Golaka Crawlers, eating 2 pirates, and one pirate
And
was
having
basically...
the Firefly as well.
Yeah, one of the pirates was basically like a time warp. You lost an entire turn. Because
no, it doesn't work. Okay, with this Misha as well, there's what, 7 damage minimum coming out. You can kill off the Direwolf now with this trade, but so much damage. Hunt Hero Power, Tundra Rhino for an additional 2, although it won't make much difference this turn. Unless he wants to double trade and then still charge with the 3-2.
Definitely.
I doubt it.
Seems like a good option. I mean, you can also ignore it, but then you can't play the Thunder Rhino.
I think I just like the Grandmother. Grandmother Hero Power this turn, go face. You're on 27, you're never going to die. And then next turn, you Rhino into Hyena, trade the Grandmothers in if you really need to, and then just create a massive Hyena. But again, let's be honest, Tyce can probably just do what he wants at this point. Double trade the Hyena now, preemptively build up the damage. Doesn't need Tundra Rhino anymore. And the Arcanite Reaper's gone, and it's not like Extractile could take the damage to face anyway.
Yeah, well... This is the spot when you're like, yeah,
this is the spot where you go bottom right.
This is the match when you just can't win.
Yeah.
Everything worked against you. 2 Golaka Crawlers proof that Netherlands Hunter actually was tailored against Romania. It felt like, yeah, you know what? I know RDU. I know that he might convince them to play Pirate
Just
Warrior.
jam Pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That was a completely blowout game. If you've ever played Hearthstone, you will have queued on ladder and just straight up lost from turn 1. You know, like those games happen. Very unfortunate for Romania that game happened in a decider game. So Netherlands beats out Romania very quickly in a 3-0 fashion. What an explosive way to beat them out there. And Romania, one of the hard teams in the group.
You were definitely one of the best teams in the entire competition, and yet here they are losing 3-0 to Netherlands. Although we can argue which team is better team on paper. Both have top competitors, and I feel like it's okay.
Both have G2 members, so you know, they're both pretty good. I know what you're trying to say, I'll be the unbiased one. I believe overall Netherlands is a stronger team because, you know, RDU is a great competitor, but Netherlands has multiple players that are playing at the top of the game and have been for a long time now. But yeah, the 3-0 victory is absolutely fantastic for those guys, and they're in our group as well, the UK group. Netherlands getting a strong win there, 3-0 win, very important. And we've got United Kingdom versus the United States coming up later on today. But yeah, that was Golaka Crawlers, man.
Golaka Crawlers are insane, but this is a tough group. The loss.
Thailand as well.
Yeah,
definitely no pushovers.
Definitely, there's actually no pushovers here in this group, and the fact that you lose an 0-3 in your opening match puts you really in a bad spot when it comes to the tiebreakers. Yeah. So Romania definitely needs to step up and win the next matches 3-0 as well to just get back to that points, those tiebreakers, deciders.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, especially this group is there are no easy matches. There are no matches where you rock and you're like, I got this. You know, there are so many difficult ones. Even if there's one you feel favored in terms of like team skill, you have to win it. You have to, because there's a higher chance of you losing against, you know, some of the harder teams as well. So definitely great to see all these players and how this is going to work out over the next few weeks. But we've got more Hearthstone coming up very, very shortly. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
We're almost there. Quiet down, everyone. This is not like any of our previous expeditions. This will be far more ambitious. We're stepping into a land of primordial wonder. Infused with astonishing elemental energies. The plant life here holds very unusual properties. So don't touch anything. And while you may be excited to see the local fauna, you might want to make sure they don't see you. Because their powers of adaptation are devastating. no mistake. We will be tested at every turn. But if we stay on our guard, we might just survive. Now then, are you ready? Then let's journey into Ongoro Crater.